So for this video, we're going to be discussing books that we both enjoy that we would mutually agree that we would like to see adaptations for.
Yeah, if any of these come out, we're going to the theater to watch it. Or if it's a TV series, then we're getting whatever service and we're watching it.
Yeah, I'll be honest though, like we don't really watch too much movies or TV shows. I used to before I met her.
Now you read.
Well, I read before, but I used to also watch a lot of movies.
Now you read more.
Yes. We do occasionally watch stuff, but not, we like to read a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, these things, if they got adapted, which I highly doubt really any of these would, they would be fun to watch.
Yeah.
So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Oh, by the way, if you guys somehow don't know, this is my wife, Jake.
Yeah, I've totally stolen his sweater. But hey, I'm Stacey.
My wife. First off, we got a kind of a 2-for-1 deal because they're by the same author and kind of have a similar feel to them. We've got one of my all-time favorite books, Drums, Girls, and Dangerous Pie, and Notes from the Midnight Driver.
Both by Jordan Sonnenblick. And this is kind of more young adult. This is young adult. This one's kind of more middle grade.
Yeah, they're both kind of on the same level, though.
This one has more nuance.
Well, you like this one more, I think.
I don't know about that. I like them both. I think they're just different.
They're both 5 stars for me, and I wouldn't be too mad about seeing them adapted.
Yeah.
They're both short enough that like you could turn them into movies, and you could basically get all of the source material into the movie.
Definitely.
But yeah, both of these have great characters. Both of these have very funny moments, but also very sad and poignant moments. But yeah, I think they would make for good movies.
Definitely. Next up, we have an indie horror, Escape by Ian Rob Wright. And this is basically a bunch of coworkers going off to a work retreat to an escape room. But they quickly realize that something is very wrong because they are immediately locked in and things escalate from there.
This basically already reads like a horror movie because it's very short and just straight to the point action horror stuff. And I think it would work very well on screen.
Yeah, me too. I would definitely watch this.
Next up is an author that is one of my all-time favorites, and you, not so much.
Mixed experiences, but this one is my favorite.
Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. And I think this one, probably out of all of her books, would make for possibly the creepiest movie.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil what happens in here, but if you've read the book, you'd probably know like what goes on in here and how creepy it would be on screen and like the twists and turns that it would take. And yeah, I think it would be very well adapted.
Yeah, I agree. Next up, this would be extra special, I think, adapted because it's kind of set in our local area. And that is Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. And this is a fun thriller about 2 dads who's one white and one black. And their sons are married to each other and then murdered. So this is kind of the dad's journey on trying to figure out why their sons were targeted, and it goes in more of like a gritty revenge type direction.
Yeah, I think this would be a very good movie for the whole family. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe not for the whole family, but it would have some interesting social commentary in it for sure, and it would be a pulse-pounding, action-packed at the end.
Yeah, I think it would kind of depend on like who they get to play the dads, though.
Yeah.
Like they'd have to cast it right. But
I agree.
It would be very good.
Definitely.
Next up, this book would be kind of hard to adapt, but if they could do it right, it would be not only creepy, but also semi-hilarious. And that would be Baby Teeth by Zoe Stage. One of my all-time favorite horror books. If you don't know, this is all about a little girl named Hannah, who I believe is 7 years old, and she really wants to hurt and possibly kill her mom.
Yeah, Hannah doesn't speak, so her mom and her often have very different thought processes and misunderstandings with each other, and it kind of escalates. So
kind of
just kind of
yeah, this would be a very fun horror. Like they could either like make this kind of more serious in tone, or they could maybe lean towards the comedy or kind of do like subtly of both. But this book is creepy and just awesome, so I think it would be a very fun horror movie.
It would be interesting to see what they would do with it on screen for sure.
I don't know if they could actually get a 7-year-old to do some of these stuffs.
The things and the stuffs.
Yeah, but yeah, it would be great to see.
Next up is a sci-fi thriller that I absolutely love that you liked, and that is The Passengers by John Mars. And essentially this is a bunch of self-driving cars that are hacked and set on a collision course with each other, and then the passengers in these cars are broadcast, and the public is supposed to comment on kind of like who they think should live or die, and you slowly get to learn more about each of the characters that are part of this hacking, and you get this fun experience of trying to shape opinions on them and maybe have your opinions change or realize your instincts were right. So yeah, it's an interesting time.
This one, I think, out of all of the things we talked about, would probably be the easiest to adapt. Like, I could see this being a summer blockbuster that everyone would want to see.
Yeah.
So next up, we have the Poppy War trilogy by R.F. Kuang. And obviously, this would probably lead better into a TV series rather than a movie. Maybe like 3 or 4 seasons. But it would be interesting to see how they adapt it, like who they cast as Rin. And it'd be interesting to see kind of how they do the tone shift, because the first part of this is a little bit lighter, like in a school setting, but then it kind of takes a hard left turn into some like really gruesome war stuff. And it'd be interesting to see how they deal with that, and then the magic and the gods that kind of come into place. So it'd be interesting to see how like tonally they would do it, but I think it could work.
I have a feeling they would just make it more dark from the start, especially with how it's kind of leading up to Burning God, which is basically full on grimdark.
Yeah, I think it could work.
Yeah. Next up, we would love to see Mistborn Era 1 adapted, but only if it's done correctly. And this would be a bit of a challenge because it would be kind of difficult to explain and visualize some of how the magic system of Allomancy in this works.
A lot of people say that this would actually work better as a video game.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that being really interesting.
But it could also, I think, work as a TV series.
Yeah, I'd watch it for sure.
You haven't read all of it yet, but I'd also love to see Mistborn Era 2 as a TV series.
I could see Era 2 being a little bit more cinematic just based on Alloy of Law for sure.
But
and that would be something my dad would watch, I bet.
Oh boy, Westerns with magic.
Well, he loves a Western, so he probably could be convinced.
We'll see about that. Next up, we have the Song of Shattered Sand series by Bradley P. Bulio. Obviously, the first book. 12 Kings and Cherokee. Obviously, it's a 6-book fantasy series, so it'd have to be probably at least 6 seasons, you would think. Yeah. And I think this would be very fun. And it's a very cool desert setting. It's got assassin fantasy.
Military fantasy.
Yeah. It's got horror elements in here too, so you've got a little bit of everything to please everybody.
Yeah, a lot of mystery involved as well.
Yeah, you learn a lot of new stuff in every book. And you might even have like interlude episodes with the novellas, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah, and there's definitely a lot of side characters that would make this an interesting TV series because you could definitely flesh them out even more, and it would be interesting to see how this would all be handled.
Yeah, with the Poppy War, that might be a little bit more difficult because the main character is kind of just Rin. But in this one, like you said, like a lot of different moving parts and settings and all that stuff.
Yeah, it would be interesting. And last but not least, we have Sleeping Giants by Sylvain Neuvel. And I mainly would love to see this adapted because my biggest complaint with the series overall is that we do something interesting with the setting in book 3 that is not very well explored in the book. And I was very intrigued by that aspect, and then it was kind of a letdown. So I would love to see visually how it's adapted because they have full creative freedom with it.
Do you think this would be a trilogy of movies or seasons?
Could go either way, I think.
Yeah, this one probably could, like a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, I think if you were going to make it into TV seasons, you'd have to expand on the source material a bit more.
Yeah, maybe go deeper into the character backstories.
Yeah, and just the politics of, how different countries in the world are reacting to the plot of this.
Yeah,
there's room for that.
Either way, I would watch it.
Yeah.
All right, those are the 10, or actually probably 11 things that we would want to see adapted.
And let us know down in the comments, do you agree with our takes? Would you also love to see any of these get adapted? And also, what other books and series would you love to see adaptations for?
Comment down below and we'll go and chat about it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel and the Bookish Sermon Discord, where we've always got a ton of buddy reads and read-alongs happening, but some would say too many.
If you keep adding more like you did last year.
not my fault. But anyway, I've also got my Patreon.
Your Patreon link and your Amazon wish list if you want to buy him or us a book, depending on what book you pick off of it.
What she said. Thank you guys so much for watching. Also, this is my wife, Stacey.
The Chapter Conundrum. Hey.
Go check out her channel because she's awesome. She just recently hit 200 subs.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
It's exciting.
Catching up to me.
No.
Anyway,
have a great day.
see ya.
Bye.